And really the motivation was just, it was the day after the election, and it was a time to just sort of be frustrated and be in solidarity with a number of people who were just sort of in a morose, down mood as a result of what felt like a disastrous, unexpected outcome. The tenor changed as the protests progressed, as more people joined, as the protest mobilized down toward to do the civil disobedience at Congress, and they closed down, and Cesar Chavez, I think, they closed down. Campus definitely had a totally different vibe, but it wasn't entirely morose. I think it changed into sort of a more energized form of dissatisfaction. Well, my understanding is that what they so they were closing down streets as the protest went along. I'm not certain they were totally prepared for where the protest was going to be going. There was a lot of interaction between the protesters and cars, which in just walking by, a number of cars that were sort of lingering in the street. And other protests I've been to, that hasn't been the case, and they've been a little bit more on top of it. But my understanding is that it's standard procedure in large cities to cooperate with the protests as much as possible. And from what I saw, they sort of did what they usually do, tried to let the protest happen, tried to facilitate it. I don't understand not being frustrated. I think it makes sense that there would be a reaction across the country to the election of a man who was horribly divisive, and also a reaction to, at least I felt, that the protest was legitimate in part because you hear this refrain that you have to respect the system and the election's over and that someone won, but I think protest and vocal dissatisfaction and organization is justified in cases where it seems like the system isn't working in a pretty egregious way. I'm still processing that he is going to be the president-elect, or sorry, that he is the president-elect, and that it looks like he's going to be the president. But I mean, running the campaign the way he did, with all of the dog whistles and playing on people's worst emotions and fears and turning people against each other the way he did, was to me so disgusting and blatant. And so, I mean, I have no reason to believe that the man would be any different than he is, and all evidence since he's been elected has pointed to the contrary, that he would change at all.